Taxpayers billed to help dead people with housing. It is the latest fraud allegation uncovered by the KARE 11 Investigates team as they continue to dig into Minnesota's embattled program to help house the homeless. Here's AJ Legault with the latest findings in Housing Hustle, a Recovery Inc. investigation.
Beneath the open sky of Lame Deer, Montana, on October 25th, 2022, a Native woman is laid to rest by family and friends. That very same day, 800 miles away in Minneapolis, Minnesota, records show Medicaid was billed by a for-profit company called Start Today Hennepin. They claimed they were helping the chronically homeless woman named Rolanda Rowland sustain stable housing, even though, by this point, the woman in the casket had been dead for 2 weeks.
I appreciate what they're doing, but it's not safe.
That's Rolanda in 2020, interviewed by KARE 11 for a report on unsafe conditions at the Powderhorn homeless encampment. That same summer, state lawmakers approved a new Medicaid program called Housing Stabilization Services, or HSS. Funded by Medicaid and overseen by the Minnesota Department of Human Services, HSS reimbursed providers like Start Today Hennepin for helping people like Rolanda secure and maintain housing. Originally projected to cost $2.6 million per year, program billing skyrocketed to more than $100 million by 2024. The top biller overall, Start Today Hennepin, paid more than $8 million.
Rather than actually serving vulnerable populations, it became a numbers game.
Fern Snedeker is a former housing case manager for Start Today Hennepin. Fern says employees had a billable hours quota, and it was largely to blame for what you're about to hear.
You believe you committed Medicaid fraud?
Yeah, I committed Medicaid fraud, and I did provide services to folks. But because of the billable hours requirement, I felt forced in order to keep my job to commit Medicaid fraud.
Fern says at Start Today, they were helping clients, but they exaggerated billing, and to make it look good on paper, their service timesheets were often fabricated.
Yeah, the timesheets didn't mean anything.
You were told it was okay to bill this way?
Yes, I was told by Marty that it was okay to bill that way. And it was a regular practice at Start Today.
Marty is Start Today's executive director, Marty Laughlin. We'll come back to him in a minute. In October 2024, Fern blew the whistle, reporting the suspected HSS fraud to the Minnesota Attorney General's Medicaid Fraud Control Unit. KARE's investigation discovered this was not the first time the state was warned that Start Today Hennepin was allegedly committing fraud by falsifying records. Hennepin County operates its own managed care organization, think insurance company, for clients on Medicaid. It's called Hennepin Health, and employees here were raising major red flags. March 15th, 2024, Hennepin Health emails DHS about Start Today Hennepin, spelling out patterns of behavior and billing that raised our eyebrows, that required further investigation or visibility by DHS, including patients who appear to be housed, hospitalized, or incarcerated during timeframes in which we were billed for services. What, if anything, DHS did in response is unknown. Hennepin continued to investigate, and on July 29th, the county sent the DHS Inspector General an official fraud referral for Start Today. According to internal reports by Hennepin Health's Special Investigations Unit, Start Today improperly billed more than $141,000. There's alleged overbilling, fabricating, and falsifying documentation, just like Fern describes.
We would either double bill for 2 clients in the same household, or we would exaggerate the hours to meet a billable hours requirement that Start Today had set up.
Hennepin also reported the company had billed for service that occurred after 3 recipients had passed away. That includes the case, KARE 11 is confirmed, of Rolanda Rowland. Billed on her death date and every business day for 3 weeks after she was dead for services largely required to be provided in person. Back to Start Today's executive director, Marty Laughlin. We walked up and asked him how many dead people his company helped with housing. He said he couldn't talk to us.
The owner of the company, had a luxury car, was going on lavish vacations.
Start Today is owned by Jennifer Porter, who on social media advertises her life as one of champagne, caviar, luxury rides, Vegas trips, and exotic travel. She too declined interview requests, but records show she admitted to Hennepin investigators that her company's records were inaccurate, claiming with her hundreds of clients, they didn't have time to keep accurate records. Hennepin didn't buy it, and on December 18th, the county also reported Start Today to the AG's office and sent this letter to the company, banning them from further billing, citing multiple examples of fraud and demanding repayment of $141,000, including what they billed for Rolanda Rowland after her death. In an email sent to KARE 11 this evening, Start Today's lawyer denied any allegation that the company committed or condoned intentional fraudulent billing, and when they learned they'd inadvertently billed for dead clients, they immediately refunded the money. Hennepin County tells me Start Today has failed to repay them for any of their false billing. Now, to date, no criminal charges have been filed, but Minnesota's Attorney General Keith Ellison tells KARE 11 Start Today Hennepin has been the subject of a long-term joint state and federal investigation.
I mean, it would almost be funny if it wasn't so maddening. Like, for 3 weeks, they billed for in-person meetings with someone that had passed away.
At least 50% of those meetings are supposed to be provided in person.
Okay. Yeah. So Hennepin County, kudos to them for raising the red flags. They say this is fraudulent. They banned them from billing clients last December. So then DHS did what?
For at least 6 months, it appears that DHS did nothing. Now, DHS let Start Today keep billing all the other Medicaid insurance companies until at least this past June, when, according to Start Today's lawyer, the company voluntarily ceased participation in the HSS program. And Julie, you'll recall earlier this month, DHS announced that they were seeking to immediately end this HSS program because they can't stop fraud from happening.
Oh, and $2.6 million budgeted, up to $100 million is astonishing. Yeah. But thanks to your reporting, they're stopping it for now anyway.
They have asked the federal government to stop it immediately, and they're waiting on an answer from the feds.
All right, thank you, AJ.
Yeah.